Previously on Iceberg TV.
Alright, we've been driving for like 10 hours today. We played Failure Lake, but we're just going to drive the last 5 hours through the night, get to Albany, and the journey will continue tomorrow.
We're about to go play the #1 course in New York.
Alright guys, so we're here at the world famous Wilcox Park, the #1 course in the state of New York. Let's play. Hey, welcome back to Iceberg TV. Today we'll be doing the official course review of the #1 rated course in the state of New York, Wilcox Park. Now we took a big road trip. We played the #1 course in Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and New York. So Failure Lake, Maple Hill, and Wilcox Park. Wilcox Park was the second course we played on this trip, and it's a very different style of course than Failure Lake. Most of the holes I would consider to be falling within more of a park style of golf. So when you compare a course like Maple Hill or Failure Lake to a course like Wilcox Park, you're going to be looking at a very different sort of structure of this review, because like pro course style course versus like a park style course, they're just two very different types of disc golf. Now let's start off with my review of the more open holes. This property is absolutely insane. Not only do they have 18 holes, which is the layout we played, they also have two separate 9-hole courses that enter at two different parts of the course. Now, we didn't play the extra 18 holes. We had already had a massive trip. We couldn't access UDisc or anything. There was no cell phone reception for us out there. So unfortunately, we didn't get to play the lake 9 holes, which I would have really loved to have played because the main course doesn't really incorporate the water much at all. And then there's another like woodsy 9-hole loop as well. And so we only played the main 18. So this review is based on the main 18 holes. Now, the first and most important thing is how fun is the course.
Selection, buddy. Yeah.
Wow, that's massive. That's huge.
The course is super fun. There's long tees, there's short tees, there's long baskets, there's short baskets. You can go out there and get your butt kicked and play a super tough layout, which I played some of those holes. And even some of the longer par 3s, I felt like they're relatively scoreable for me, and I had a really fun time throwing those shots. But I was playing with my dad, who plays in the MA50 division. He throws like 150, 100 feet, shorter than I do. So he would play most of the short tees. And I think this is a really great thing for those of us who mostly just play disc golf for fun and not so much competitive players anymore. You can go out there with any assortment of people and just play different tees, and you can all go out and have a super fun time. Just enjoy the course, enjoy the property. And I think this is a really nice touch. Failure Lake had a similar type of vibe. We had 2 tees and 2 baskets on most of the holes. So again, we just played whatever tees we thought would be the most fun for us during the round. And in my opinion, if you're checking out a new course for the first time, you should try and enjoy it as much as possible. I think this is a really cool thing that nobody does, except for like me and my group of friends. We just play whatever tee we want on every hole. I know a lot of other people who just like They choose a U-disc layout, they keep score every single round, and I think you leave some fun on the table by playing disc golf in that way. But that's just my opinion. So overall, the course was super fun. There was a lot of scoreable holes. There was a lot of long par threes, long par fours, long par fives. We had a mixture of open field holes, like some nice elevation throw up a big hill. And then, in my opinion, much more fun throwing down a big hill. There was a few really nice big downhill shots we got to throw. My MVP trails, my Iceberg TV trails, they were flying really well out there. Just great uphill shots, downhill shots, flat shots. A lot of good open holes. And then in the kind of beginning and somewhere towards the end, there are a few woods holes as well. And the woods holes I felt like had a little bit to be desired. Some of the woods holes, in my opinion, weren't nearly as good as the woods holes that we have in Charlotte, North Carolina. A lot of the lines I felt like were a little bit forced, a little bit pinchy, a lot of just like random trees and not super defined lines up the fairway. And some of the holes that did have defined lines up the fairway, they were really hard. They were really fun. There was a few woods holes that also incorporated elevation. But I think they could probably redesign some of the woods holes at Wilcox Park to make them a bit more fun and make the birdies are out there. You know, you can birdie almost any hole. But some of the birdies out there felt a little fluky, especially in the woods holes. So where Wilcox Park really shines for me is on the open holes, utilizing the land, utilizing the property. And there was also a handful of holes that were open and wooded where you're throwing a wide open tee shot. And then you need to land in a landing zone so you can then pitch into a woodsy section towards the basket. And I really like those holes because I think they actually force you into, you know, playing golf. You got to throw golf shots if you want to get the birdie, lay up to the zone where you need to lay up to, and then you can go for the green and get yourself a nice birdie 3 on a tricky par 4. And there was a few holes that incorporated the open and the woods, and I really enjoyed those holes as well. But where I'm going to reduce some points for Wilcox Park is going to be on the woodsy holes.
I love this disc.
I really would have loved to have gone back and played the Lake 9 and then the Extra 9, but I couldn't access U-disc, and we didn't even know those existed until we were an hour and a half from the course on the way home when my phone connected back to the cell tower. It was too late, and we were too far gone at that point, and we still had to go play Maple Hill, so we didn't have the time to go back to Wilcox Park again to check out the other layouts. But I think, do those holes really need to be in the review if it's not the main 18? I'd love to know what you guys think about that. Let me know in the comment section down below. I think the course review should be with the main 18 on all courses because I don't think a lot of people are going and playing 36 holes all in one day. Would I do it if that was my home course and I had a day to spend playing disc golf? Definitely. That would be a super fun place to spend your day playing disc golf. But I usually will play like 9 holes and dip, or maybe 18 holes and dip, depending on the day. But that's just my opinion. So I think rating the course, on this 18-hole scale. I think it is super fair. And I think in comparison to Failure Lake being a 10 out of 10, that is the gold standard of disc golf for me at this current time.
Yeah. For the eagle. Oh.
We're just going to run through the tee pads and the baskets super quick. It was another one of those courses that had tee pads that were acceptable for us, didn't slip, didn't trip, had no issues with the tee pads or the baskets. The equipment was top tier. There weren't any old or broken down or beaten up baskets. Everything was new. Everything was nice. Everything was well maintained. The property was well maintained. The grass was mowed. From that perspective, everything was absolutely perfect. So the points that I deducted is mostly because of the woods holes. And then unfortunately there was no cell reception out there. And I feel like I missed out on like half the course by not playing the extra 9-hole woods loop and then extra 9-hole lake loop. But in the moment while we were there, we didn't even, it wasn't even on our radar. We're like, okay, this is the course. We played it. And that's where this review is coming from.
It's a great shot.
Is that fun?
Probably good for the legs.
So just to keep it super simple and boil it down for you guys in the most simplest of terms, I'm going to give Wilcox Park an 8.5 out of 10. And the reason why I'm going to deduct some of the points is I think they could have had a little bit better signage for some of these extra 9s. Now, maybe I just wasn't being perceptive. I wasn't understanding, or I didn't do my homework enough before attending the course. But if it said like 9-hole lake loop somewhere and it was super obvious and super clear, we probably would have went and played them because I was really desiring to play some holes that play around the water. And the 18-hole course, the main 18, doesn't really incorporate the water much. So I did feel like if I can see water and there's a disc golf course there, I want the water incorporated into the 18-hole layout. Now, where I'm also going to deduct some points is on the woods holes. I think a little bit of clearing out of certain trees could make a huge difference on these holes. And I also think that the lines are just a little bit too pinchy. It requires like a really specific shot, really specific layup. And that's not necessarily a bad thing when the course forces the shot. But I just felt like I was almost like half throwing shots or like being kind of tentatively forced into certain shots. I like to be able to just throw the disc with confidence and direction and not really having to like fluff like nose up shots or like awkward lines or pinchy lines. It's got that good vibes, good feelings. You're out in the country, super clean air, tons of land, huge property, big tall trees. It's quiet. It's got the elevation. It's got woods. It's got open. I think it's a 5-star or 10 out of 10 disc golf property. And I think with a few redesigned holes, I think you could have a 10 out of 10 course here as well. I do think it's a 10 out of 10 property. No matter how good the disc golf course is, the vibe of the property is something, no matter how good the course is, you can't change. And this course has the vibes. It has the ambiance that I love. All of those things are super chill. It's just a place where you can go, let go, have fun, and just make really good memories. And for that, I'm thankful I got to go play Wilcox Park. I think 8.5 out of 10 is a super fair score. Not nearly as good as Failure Lake. And in my opinion, not even as good as some of the mid-tier courses we have in Charlotte. I think I like, Nevin better, Angry Beavers better. I think Wilcox Park is not a bad course. I'm just giving my honest opinion about where I think they could improve and my overall experience playing the main 18-hole loop. Let me know what you guys think about these reviews in the comment section down below. I hope you're looking forward to the Maple Hill video. Stay humble, live with gratitude. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and take care.
Next time on Iceberg TV.
All right, guys, we're here for a special edition of the mic'd up course review. We're here at Maple Hill. We're gonna play a very mixed layout. I'm trying to play the most fun tees. So we're gonna play a couple of golds, couple of blues, couple of diamonds. Yeah, we're here at hole 1, famous hole 1. We're gonna throw the water disc here. We got the Saint. We're here at Maple Hill. Pretty exciting.